hello. I think it should be live. Oh, look at that. There we go. Hi everyone. Yeah, hi. I'm just trying this out really. I'm having a go at making a game in Rust using HTML5 and Yew specifically. It's a bit of a copy of a game that I've got going on, I'm currently creating. Yeah, so the premise for this is I'd quite like to make a Rails shooter, so a bit like there was a game years ago on the C64, which would have little enemies pop up, and you had to shoot the enemies. And I quite like the idea of combining that with like a wizard theme. So if you've ever played Magika, Magika 2, you have to like concoct the spells yourself. So you have to like dial up, use the right different things to mix together to create the spells. So I quite like that as a concept. The description that I've put in the GitHub is at the moment it's in the spirit of Virtua-Cop. I don't think we'll ever get to the point where it's anything like that. I think it'll probably just remain a 2D thing rather than 3D. Virtua-Cop used 3D assets and things, but it's quite difficult to develop all of those. And yeah, I'm building this game hands down the worst possible way to build a game, which is just starting with the code and then seeing how it goes from there. So yeah, we'll just have to see what happens. Yeah. So as I said, I'm sort of new to this whole streaming thing. I've done a couple of live streams before. There've been a lot more planned with what's going on. I think this should be streamed properly. If obviously I don't have any viewers at the moment, which is fair enough. But if anyone re-watches this, I will start to like advertise them more online ahead of time and through the channel, particularly if it picks up steam and people are actually interested in watching me do this. But for now though, I guess we'll get started. So the first thing to do with the Rust project is cargo init. And we have our first application, and we can probably run that. Cargo run. Yeah, we print out hello world. Well, there we go, that's the first step on our way. I'll be posting the code periodically. I don't imagine during this first session we'll get very far in terms of creating anything actually playable, so I don't think there's a lot of point in distributing it that way. But eventually I hope to get onto a sort of cycle where I can like make some changes and push them and have them deploy automatically through GitHub or whatever. But yeah, we'll just see how we go there. But yeah, right, gonna get started then. So the library we're using is Yew, which is available in Rust. It's kind of based a little bit on React. Just digging out the code. I don't have enough screens. Where are we? There we go. Right. Sorry, I can't remember how I started the last project now. So we will need to add in Yew router. So cargo add Yew. Okay. And I might as well get Yew router in as well. We'll need some of the routing. Cargo add new router. Here we go. Yeah. And so the first thing we do, we'll just go to main.rs. This is where the application starts from. Get rid of our program, the original hello world, and we'll stick a run there. Oops, there. Now we need to create an actual thing here. Function component. This would be our app. It's my app. And create the app body. And we'll create a little switch statement here for the root. Switch. Anyone familiar with React this probably looks a little bit familiar to you. And of course it doesn't recognize any of the things because we have to actually pull in the crates that we've added. So prelude, start, pulling everything from prelude, and cool. I've also got some music running in the background. If anyone tunes in and the music is too loud or whatever, then please feel free to just send a message. So router, put in everything from the prelude there. So yeah, we have that. What's it complaining about here? Expected type. That's because I need to specify the type. So it's going to be HTML. Cool. It's not liking stuff here. It's not root. Possible that's because we haven't actually created. Yes, we're going to create our type roots. I couldn't remember what's in the crate and what isn't. So derive clone and rootable and partially Q. So compare them. And create our root here. Create our home root, just call that home, and create our game root here. Okay, and then we'll also create a not found root, so that we can at least get something. If it can't find the root we're looking for, this can be quite helpful for debugging. Stick it at 404, as well as make it default, and we'll just call this not found. Cool, so now all it's complaining about is the fact that we haven't got our switch function, and this is the thing that's going to actually do the routing. So switch roots, so type root, return HTML, match roots, and hopefully, with the magic of Visual Studio Code, yes, we can just fill all those in, save us some time. Yeah, cool. Oh, VLC player is just checking up, that knows where what we're playing. I've taken some music from royalty-free source. I'll post the link in the description on the stream when the stream's over, with all the details of those, because all the tracks have to be attributed, which I will do. So from here, we'll just, rather than create a separate page for this, I'll just create a thing saying 404 not found here. Cool, that one's done. So then we want to create a new module for these pages, so we can stick our page renderings in there. And being a module, we'll create our mod.rs, not RD. Yeah, let's do that, and then I'm going to create two more, one for the home page, home, and one for the game.rs. So, yes, put that in there. Okay, get those in there. So I guess the home page, probably the first one we want to do. So go to the home page, and we can bring in preludes and everything in there. Create an empty message prompt. Oh, why is it not just yes? Okay, right. right. And the message. Oh my god, that keeps okay. I'm going to say don't show that again. Just leave me alone. Right. Home message. There we go, and that'll be empty because we won't really have a message prompt on the front page. Instruct home control. That's also a message prompt. And then we need to implement components for home control. Declarations, home message, even though there's nothing in there, and the properties. Yeah. And then we'll have a create function with a context. We're not actually going to do anything with that because we're not going to hold any state on the page. It's just going to be page return self, and then from here we'll just return self. We don't need to do anything smart there. And for the updates, self. Again, the context, but we're not going to do anything with the context. And the messages, the self message type, and this function has to return a bool to let me know if it's been handled. And then from here, we'll just do match message like this, and we'll just return true. So say that we've been handled everything. And then next up, the view. This is the actual stuff that's going to show on the page. So to reference that, again, passing on context. Self, and this will return HTML. And now we can create our front page. So just create a div to hold everything in, and create a heading. So I don't know what this game is going to be called at the moment. Let's call it Wizard Game for now. Or it has to be a string like this, and then I guess, yeah, let's. Button, yeah, so we'll create an actual button here. Call this play game, and then we'll wrap this in a double quoted string. We'll wrap it in a link so that the div is then becomes a link. Indent that so it doesn't look terrible. Yeah, that's good. And then we need to remember to make this class, which we might as well do now because we need to have an index.html in the root of the project. Create a HTML and a head, and we'll also create a body here as well. Yeah, I think that's all we need at the moment. Oh no, we need to have a reference to our CSS file, which we also need to create a main.css here. And I'm actually going to turn off the notifications for that because it's a bit distracting. So let's make our body. Let's set the background color to black. So I think that looks quite cool, and then the text color to white. It's a good start. We can always tweak this later. And then we need to create our class for the button as well. I'm just trying to think. What did I do last time? Yeah, last time it created this weird margin around the edge. So I've just set margin 0 and padding 0 to get rid of that. And then we'll create our link button class. This is width of 100, height of 70, line height 70, background color is bisque. It's centered and aligned and that sort of thing. And then we actually going to set up so that no link links have text decoration as well. I'll set the color to white so it doesn't give the blue and purple that kind of defaults for links. So then that should give us that, and then I guess our game page, we can largely just copy this and change the code. Control C, Control V. No, that didn't do what I wanted. There we go. Oh yeah, I should close Steam as well. It's going to keep popping up with other people. Okay, right. Cool. So there we go. We have our right, and we now need to make this into our game component as well. So we'll do that by just searching. In fact, maybe let's just search for the word home and change it to game. Control, game message, and set that text there, just so we know we're on the game page. Cool. So I've already installed Trunk on here, which I think is all we need to make this run. Although main.rs is still complaining. Yes, it is. Of course, we haven't filled in the targets, so we will have to pull in the module we just created, so mod pages, and then we'll have to reference these components that we've just created. So from here, HTML, and then we'll just use the component we've created, home control, and save game. Pages. Oh dear me, can't type today. Right, game control. There we go. Some pages. Cannot find game control on. Let's change that one. Okay. So hopefully this will be not complaining now. So now if we do trunk serve. Oh, we've got an error. Okay, what's the error? Access is denied. Yep, they got a socket thing. So I was running a little test earlier with my other application. So I was trying to access the same port. That's on me. Realize we're missing one thing, so we won't be able to see our CSS, and that needs to happen in here. I'll just do that while it's building. So we need data trunk rel is CSS, and the href is main.css. This makes sure that it copies the CSS asset that's next to the index.html. Could not compile. Okay, we've got some warnings. Unreachable expression. Okay, that's fine. Could not find renderer in Yew. Ah, yes. Okay, we probably need to turn that on. Yes, we do. So let's do version equals. It's a missing feature. Features equals CSR. I'm not actually sure what CSR stands for, but we have to turn that on there. What's going on? Right. Okay, yep, that's a fair point. So this is why I didn't throw it up before, because I didn't have that feature turned on, so it just didn't recognize anything there. So kill that, and we rerun it. And we can see we have our game. We can't really see the text, but we can get to the game page, so we can navigate through our single page application at the moment, which is cool. So I guess the first thing to do is to sort out that text. We really need to do that. So the CSS, that is the link button. I wonder if let's make it dark blue, just because I'm curious what will happen. Respawn that. Blur up here. Yeah, cool. Okay, it's gone dark blue, so it has overridden that. Cool, and then we've got the game page. Awesome. Well, our application is coming together pretty well at the moment. Oh, we've had a view. Well, 2 concurrent views. Thanks, everyone. Sorry, I'm still new to this. I don't know if it'll tell me who's online at the moment. I don't think there's anyone connected right now. But if there is, please send a chat. Whatever, I should see that. It should turn up. Yeah, cool. Right, so we have this this application. Let's get the canvas going, because that's going to be the important part of our application. So it's such a long time since I wrote this other code that I'm copying from. It's right. Yes, the first thing we need to do is create a reference to the handler. I'll tell you what I'm going to do though. First is just to commit this code so that we know where we started from. We want to exclude the dist folder. Put that in the git ignore, because that's what's built. We're already excluding target. Great, that's 10 files. That's probably about right. Never know whether you're supposed to put the cargo lock file in there or not. Anyone has any opinions on that, please let me know. CSS, settings to JSON, that's a VS Code file, probably won't commit that. That would actually just exclude the entire VS Code folder. Yeah, perfect. Add that. Made.rs. Happy with that. It's working. And here, I just realised I probably didn't put it on the right screen. Checking 2 pages. There we go. Right, yeah, so I just realised I probably didn't show off the actual screen that was on my other screen. But this is it. You should be able to see it. And actually, I'll just check in maybe as well. Yeah, cool, yeah, you can see it now. So we've got our button, and when you click on that, it doesn't do anything because our trunk serve is not working, so it's not running again. So there we go, we've got the 2 pages, the front page and the game page. Now we're going to add the canvas to this page. So let's go and have a look. We have someone in the chat. Hi, Sam. Cool. Yeah, like I said, it doesn't tell me if I've got anyone actually. Oh, maybe that's what this is here. It's a graph. Oh, yeah. Hi. So Hassan's watching. Hi, Hassan. Cool. Yeah. So this is what we're doing now. Yeah, I desperately need a third monitor. I've got 2, and I thought that was enough. I need to get a third one. Right. So the first thing is to create the actual canvas on the elements. That's what we need. So go to game. We can get rid of that because we don't need to tell people on the game page. It should be fairly obvious. Actually, we'll stick a class in there just so we can use that. We'll call this game canvas. We may want to style it out later, so that's just doing that. Oops, canvas. And we'll create some styles in here. I haven't found a better way of doing this, like with CSS or anything at the moment, but set the width to 100% of the view width and the height. I found that 90% view height works best, and then you want to set the left and top to be 0 pixels, otherwise it adds this. I don't understand why modern browsers do this, but they add the border at the top, and it's really annoying when you're trying to make a full screen canvas. It probably makes sense from other points of view. So anyway, we have our self.canvas.clone, and that will almost certainly fail because we haven't created the canvas reference. Oops. We'll just close off that tag. Yeah, cool. So that's now complaining, which we would expect, and the reason is because we haven't added our canvas element to our type. So on the game control, we now need to add the canvas in here, and that is of type node-ref, which I don't know if we need to import. And of course, it's complaining because we're not actually including that when we create the new one in the create method. So how do we do this? Where this will just be, we have our canvas. We create a node-ref default, so we just return the default, and then we go, all of a sudden it's happy again. So we can do that. Might be all we need to do. It'll be quite boring, so I don't see the point in rendering this because it'll just be an empty canvas that we're not doing anything with. So I think it might be worth adding in some of the messages that we need. So we're going to need, let's have a look. The render function to tell us to render, and then yeah, that's the update function render. So the way we do that is we're going to just add render into the game messages. This can be anything. We're just going to call it render. And now, obviously, it was saying that was unreachable, so I think we should get rid of that. And then the match arm, it's not included, so we've now got our render, and then we want to call self.render, which we haven't implemented yet, but it moves the rendering outside of this update function, and then we'll just get true from there. Yeah, cool. That's complaining of that because we actually have to implement that for game control. So we've created our class now and want to create a function and call it render. And I can't remember the arguments that takes. Just self. Yeah, it doesn't. Oh yeah, of course, because we're creating it. So we'll create a mutable reference to self because we're going to need to get the canvas element and context. We will be also doing our game loop updates here as well eventually, but we'll wait to do that. We'll give this one a type just to make sure it coerces it properly. And self.canvas.cast.unwrap. And then we're going to call set width canvas.client width as u32 canvas.set height. This should mean that it doesn't stretch. So if you create a canvas in HTML, you may have seen before that it like stretches the image or compresses it, and it's even though the canvas itself has grown, it doesn't update the view draw area or the context within it, and so it just stretches everything and it looks awful. So by forcing it to go to the same height, it means we can resize it on the fly and it won't cause those problems. and there's U32. And then we're going to grab a reference to the context. Now this is different from the control context. This is a drawing context. And this is a canvas rendering context 2D. Canvas.get context. And anyone that's used Canvas in JavaScript would probably recognize this. The get context 2D. And then we have to unwrap. Twice and unchecked into. This is taking responsibility for all of the dangerous unwrappings within Rust. We can probably trust this time. I mean, it's going to be compiled into WASM at some point anyway. So we have our canvas elements. These are missing imports, and they're pulled in from WebSys. So I'll pull those in at the top. And of course, we haven't included WebSys, so let's do that now. That's the other word, add. So cargo add WebSys. Cool. And hopefully. Okay, just going to check. I think we possibly may need to include some. Oh, yeah. Yeah, WebSys is a real pain. So rather than type all this stuff out, I'm actually going to get rid of. So it's on 0.3.67. Yeah. So we've got a whole load of here, the dependencies for WebSys, the features. It's easier to pull them in like this rather than create a long list. Otherwise, we'd have to create like features that would just go on and on and on off the edge of the screen. So we'll pull it in using this method instead, and simply swap out the version numbers. And this will pull in all of the components that we need. We've got our rendering context and canvas element there. And I've pulled in some other stuff like touch events as well. We'll also be adding those later as well. So where were we? Let's go back to game. Okay, it's complaining here about this. What is that? Cannot find canvas render context 2D. Did I misspell it? Yes, I did. It's rendering context. There we go. Yeah. Now we're getting an error on the unchecked into current scope. The method is available for object here. Okay, I'm going to check my other code. It's possible it may have changed. Changed between versions because I was using a slightly older version with that. Unchecked into. Okay, yeah, looks like they may have changed it. Okay, so what is the unwrap return? Unwrapping an option. Oh, it's a generic. That's not helpful. It's not an F64 though. Can we just cast into? No, it won't do the conversion for us. From JS values implemented for. Why is that not? So I guess the simple and completely cheating way to do this here is just to roll back to the earlier version because I know it worked in that one. So yeah, I'm gonna do that just for now, and then I'll figure out after the stream's ended why not, and we'll try and update to the later version to game.rs. Oh no, it still doesn't like it. Let's try building it, see what it thinks. Okay, that's why. We didn't include one of the necessary traits that's pulled in here. In fact, actually, we can just pull that in there like that. Does that look better? No, I think I prefer it the other way, actually. Yeah, let's have it on its own separate line. And now it likes it again. Okay, well, we can probably go back to the... yeah, it's good. Go back. We'll just rebuild it just to make sure it's happy with that. Oh, what did I do wrong? Trunk serve. Okay. Okay, yeah, it doesn't like that. It doesn't like the HTML that's being returned. And I'm not entirely sure why. Yeah, no wonder. I didn't close off the thing, so I missed a chevron from the end there. So there we go, there's our trunk serve, and we can load this page. So we can see we've got our black page here with a button. And we've got the blank canvas. I mean, I mentioned it was probably going to be quite boring in there. So yeah, and now we will start to actually render something in the canvas. So where are we? Game. Cool. So we can treat this just like a JavaScript canvas. I mean, it gets cross-compiled into WASM anyway, so it is just using the JavaScript canvas underneath. We also going to need to do a little bit of trickery here because I think it doesn't like the JS value. I think we have to create some sort of thing, but let's deal with that when we come to it. So let's set this as a let's go with a gray and maybe set to, let's say, quite a light gray. Let's go with 200, 200. Actually, grey is quite boring. Let's go with a bluish grey. So quite a light one. There we go, and then we'll do CTX fill rect, which is just a draw over the entire screen, starting at 0, 0, 0, 0, and set the canvas width and canvas height. Like this. Yeah, it looks like we have to cast those because I'm guessing this takes, yeah, it takes F64s and width is a U32. So we'll just do into and it'll do the conversion for us. We could also write as F64, but I think into looks more compact here. Don't think we need to specify. We shouldn't be playing with this once we've written it. Yeah, we can then, let's make it a little bit more exciting and draw a line as well. So we'll do a begin path and we'll set the stroke style to, and again, what I'll do is I'll copy this from up here and set this to a red, I think, 25500. And we'll go CTX, move to, and I will move to 50, F64, 50, and then do CTX line 2, and we'll just do 200, 200, nice little diagonal line there. Oh, missed a semicolon there. And then to finish it off, we'll do a CTX stroke. Again, this should be fairly sort of well known to anyone who has who's done any sort of canvas programming before. And then we need to add a callback because the best idea with Canvas is to render on a request animation frame, rather than just grinding through calling the render function again and again. So we'll do window unwrap, oops, like that, and call request animation frame. And we need to specify the callback. We actually haven't created the callback yet, but we'll do that in a second on the component. Oops, unchecked ref here. What else do we need? Nope, that's it. And then we'll just unwrap the returned result there. Okay, so so it doesn't recognize callback, that's fine, we're expecting that. It doesn't recognize window, that probably means that we've missed an import somewhere. I'll go and check my imports at the top. Yes, it's a WebSys import, and I'll stick that in there. Oops. There we go. So we have that, and then we need to create our callback as well. And what is that? That is a closure, dynamic fun mute. Oops. There we go. Closure. We need to pull in closure. It's a wasm bindgun thing, and I think we're probably going to need to prelude closure, and pull in JS cast and JS. Oh, hang on, we've got it above. Yeah, so actually they're already being pulled in, and I'll just do the closure in a separate line. Okay, and it doesn't like. Okay, it's a WebSys subcrate. There we go. That's better. Right. Yeah, I think. Sorry, I'm looking at it and trying to decide if the code looks neater combined into one. I don't think it would. So yeah, we'll stick with that. And then of course it's complaining because we've created this new object, this new attribute on our struct, the callback, and we haven't actually filled it in. So the callback will be to callback is going to be equal to closure wrap, and then inside here we're going to create a boxed value, and keyboard keeps switching back to the UK keyboard even though I have an American keyboard. Comp CTX. Oh, we're referencing comp CTX, which we haven't created. So that's comp the component context. It's going to be equal to the context passed in, link clone, because we want to clone the incoming context, and we're going to remove the underscore now because it's because we need it. So that's all working. Comp CTX dot send message game message render. So we're going to call our render function as and we just cast it as the boxed dynamic mutable function that we specified earlier. Fun mute. Go, and then here we'll set the callback like that. So now we should actually get this, and hopefully there are no more warnings. Okay, it thought I wanted to pull callback in from yew, which I didn't. I wanted the different callback. So that, I think, is everything. It's saying that we don't need the mutable on there. Is that right? Okay, yeah, we don't need the mute because we're not actually mutating the context, just calling functions on it, so that's fine. Okay, so let's have a look here and see what comes up. So we have our button, press a button, and nothing happens. So that's a good start. Why is nothing happening? Probably missed something somewhere. In fact, I do, and I know exactly what I've done wrong. I never sent the initial render function. So we do that by calling the context, and we link with it, and the send message, and now we're going to send game message render in there. go. And that should kick off the first one. We're calling back from the render function, telling it to do it every time. Cool. And now, so now we see our wizard game. We push our button, and we get our beautiful lavender context with a red line going across it. So that's awesome. We've got our game screen, and it doesn't stretch anything, so those coordinates are as we'd expect. You can see until it actually gets to the animation frame, it does do that stretching. I'm not sure if this is going to come across on the stream. Sorry, I'm watching it with a slight delay, and yes, it is. So you can kind of see it's like stretching slightly and then coming back because we're resetting the size of the canvas. Thanks very much for stopping by, San. I'll see you around sometime. This is a guy I play games with. Yeah. Cool. So this is probably a good time to commit our code. We've added in our various dependencies. Yeah, there's got all of the different features on the websys, and we've got a lot of changes here. I'm pretty happy with that. Draw to canvas on the commit message. I wonder if I can push that up. I cannot. I'll do it later. I've got to add it in. I've not even posted the link, so it's not like you'll be able to see. But I'll post it on the notes after the show if I can. If not, because again, new to this whole live streaming thing, I'll try to find a way of posting those notes later on. So yeah, cool. Yeah. Well, I think this is pretty good. Just trying to think like what the next stages would be, and what I'd do. Oh, I've just noticed the music stopped as well, so I'll start the music again. There we go. Yeah. Guess we could start to add in. Actually, yeah, let's do that. We'll start to add in the responsive parts, so that we can like click on the canvas and get those messages ahead of time. That's going to be a good thing. So we've now going to really torture our canvas component. Let's close all of these other windows for now, and come back here and add in. So we're going to need all our function handlers in here. So for now, we'll not do the touch stuff. We'll just add in mouse down, which is going to be ctx.link.callback. I'm going to move that event. Let's type mouse event. I've realised now I want to call the game message mouse down, but we haven't actually created that. So let's go and create that message now as inside the message handler. And in fact, we might as well add in mouse up and mouse move as well, because we'll need those in order to be able to react. So we've got those on there. And of course, we're going to be missing those handlers, but we can use VS Code to just fill in those match arms there. I'll move them up so they're in the same order they are on the component, because the number of messages is going to get quite large, because we've got like mouse down, mouse up, mouse move. We're then going to have touch start, touch end, and touch move. There could be other like interactions later on, like on key down, if we want to start adding keys. In fact, we definitely will for the wizard game, because we're going to want to use the keyboard to like type in and interact with different mana types. So we'll be doing that anyway. For now, though, we just need to pass in the it doesn't like context, put an underscore on, and then we want to do events.pagex as f64. We'll cast that as an f64, and event.pagey as an f64 there as well. I didn't put the right number of things in. Where have I gone wrong? Yeah, it needs to be a tuple. So we're passing in all of the stuff inside as a tuple there. Cool, and then and I forgot to add in a tuple of F64. Again, I've missed the brackets off, so it needs to be like this. And we'll be passing back all of those for all of the things. The mouse move and mouse down are really the most important. Mouse up, less so. We care less about where the mouse came up. And then in here, obviously, we have to add our into our handlers the things. I'm just checking on what I used last time. Yeah, I'm gonna just call this event for now, or EVT, and it's even though it's just a tuple of F64s, we can reference those with .0 and .1 then. So yeah, and we have to actually include the on mouse down. Let's first of all set the mouse up, which of course will pass a mouse up event back, and mouse move, which will pass the mouse move event as well. I think I've messed up the music. Cannot figure out how to get this just to show. Yeah, I tell you what, I will open, I just need to reopen the folder. There we go, that should be better. Yeah, that's music going in there. Cool, so we now have our functions, none of those being called, so we need to actually attach those to the canvas, and we do that the same way that you would in regular HTML, just by setting the on mouse down, and then, because we call it the same thing, on mouse up, and on mouse move, on mouse move. There we go. Cool. And it's not complaining about those. So now we need to do something with the events that we're getting. Oops. And I'm going to create a display object, I think. So we'll just we'll just create last x, give me an F64, last y, give me an F64, and let's say last action. We'll set this as a string, and we'll just set the so, and each of these needs to be in here as well. Ooh. And I'm going to set up default values, so that'll be 0.0, 0.0, and this is just going to be an empty string. Okay. Cool, so we'll just set those there for now. What we'll do, I think, is we'll get to the point where we can actually draw the text to the screen of those objects. So. And that should show you how the events work. So we'll set the self.x equals event.0, self.y equals event.1, and self. And self. Last action. Oh yeah, this was last x. Okay, last y, and last action is going to be mouse down to string. Oops. There we go. And we can largely just copy this now into these other handlers. And this is a mouse up event. And this one is the mouse move. So add that in there. And then we're just going to inside the renderer after here, ctx.draw text, which I cannot remember for the life for me how to do, so I'm going to have to Google it. So go to JavaScript, canvas, context, draw text. Actually, I think I know why. It's because it's fill text. Yeah, there we go. So you can see here it's fill text. Obviously, the Rust convention means that it will be fill_text instead of it uses the Rust naming conventions on the components. Just going to turn the music down here so slightly because it's going to be a bit distracting. There we go. Yeah, and that should, and you just specify the text and the location, so that should be fairly straightforward. A lot of these functions, even though they are Rust specific, have been copied from the JavaScript, so they have the same arguments inside. So we will draw the we'll do self.last_action, and we'll draw that at let's say 300, and oops, it's not draw text, fill text. There we go. Okay, and it doesn't like the fact that it's expecting a string. Okay, so a string, and it returns a result. I think we should just ignore the result for now. Really, we should be checking it, but I mean, it's the canvas. If it fails, we'll see, because it just won't draw. So I'm going to go to trunk serve, and back to our page, refresh, and nothing is happening. Why is that? Okay, it doesn't like that. Okay, so one of the things that I've been using with this, with my other projects, is a thing called Glue Console, and we can add that now. Glue Console it's a way of adding console logging in. Glue Console log. We use the log macro to actually debug stuff. So I think the first thing we should do is just add in mouse down event.0 event.1 so this isn't like in Rust, where in pure Rust, as opposed to like the WASM Rust, where you would need to specify place markers for where you want the objects to be put in the string, like a formatted string. This you just specify with a comma, like you would with a console.log in JavaScript. So it's kind of copying that behavior. So change that, mouse up, and then we've got. Actually, I'm not going to log the mouse moves because you get quite a lot of those as you go through. So let's call trunk serve again. And I'm going to bring up the developer tools so we can see those, and then refresh the page. Yeah, so we're getting mouse down and mouse up events. So the problem is with my code, and I now know exactly what is wrong with it. And it's because I forgot it's fill text, not stroke text, and we actually have to set the fill style. So it is drawing it, it's just not drawing it on the in the right color. It's drawing it the same color as the background, so it's just disappearing. So I'm going to put this in red immediately before the fill text. And now we can see we've got our mouse move, mouse down. It's actually quite small. So I'm going to increase the font size. And again, not start the Microsoft Store. And where is it? Here we go. Join text. So we can see from there that it's a font, and it just specifies string. So specify font. Hoping, we can just copy the one that's on the example, 58px serif font. Okay, it doesn't like that. Oh, expected 0 arguments. Yes, because it's going to be set fonts. There we go, yeah. So some of the things have been renamed to follow the conventions. So in JavaScript, you'd just be able to set the attribute, but Rust, you have to be more explicit. So you have font and set fonts to actually set the value on there. And now we have, there we go, mouse move, mouse down, mouse up, as we interact with that. And now we're going to actually print the values as well. So past x. And here we will have to use the. Oh no, actually, I think we can just cast toString on there. Yeah, but we want. We're going to have to do some playing around with this in a minute for ownership. Oops. Comma y plus self dot last y dot to string. There we go, and let's see what it complains about first. Right. So it doesn't like this. We want to do toOwned. Pass the ownership along. And then this, I suspect we're going to need to clone to get it in there. Nope. What didn't it like about it? Expected at string. Ah! As strut, yeah, so we need to do that. Might as well just copy that. So it's expecting a reference to a string. Sorry, a str rather than a string. Cool, and then just copy the line above, and we will put this immediately underneath and use the lock string. And that's the only place we're using it, so it should expected at string up. So we've got to do that again. Strut, cast it. There we go. Cool, and then refreshing that, we can see we've got our values coming up, and it's showing us where on the canvas that we've been. And this is great. This is a good first start because it means that we can use this to start to generate actual game interaction and moving the mouse around and that sort of thing. So this is probably a great place to stop. I'm going to check the coding, commit it. I'll update the show notes with all of the stuff. Thanks to everyone who stopped in. It's been really fun. Apologies for the technical difficulties that we've had. So some of the things that I wasn't sort of prepared for. But yeah, I'm going to try and make this a more regular thing. And I'd love to kind of develop this game in the open and take inputs from people. You know, along with things. I'll probably start a Discord channel at some point. But yeah, other than that, I hope that everyone has a great evening, and yeah, hope to see you on the next one. Yeah, thanks a lot. Bye.